Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of answering your questions. Now, I know. I said I was going to do these regularly. I completely failed at that, but life has a way of creeping up on you. Hopefully in the future, I will get more of these out in a more timely fashion. But we got a great question for today, and this one's from Will. He says, I'm looking forward to this series. My question is, if you could travel back in time to when you first started learning jazz saxophone, what piece of advice would you give your younger self? And when I think about this, there's a lot of advice I would give to myself, but I'm going to narrow it down to one particular thing that I think is really, really important. And that is the importance of mastering your instrument, whatever it is. So on its most base level, like trying to make the instrument an extension of your body by spending so much time on it, studying it so deeply, all of the intricacies that go into all these different instruments, the mechanics, the muscle memory, the fluency and confidence you feel when you are holding your instrument or you're at your instrument. Because you got to remember, what we are ultimately trying to do as improvisers, right, is we're trying to get the ideas that we have in our head out the end of our instrument. And what you want to think about is reaching a point where the instrument is not a barrier between what you hear in your head and what ultimately the listener hears. So you could look at it this way, right? There's all this advice out there that this is an oral art form. So spend all your time, developing your ideas and what you want to say. And that is some of the best advice you could ever get, right? So you definitely want to spend a bunch of your time, your practice time, doing that. Learning the music by ear, using your ears to develop your abilities and what you want to say, to get deeper into the style, to be more authentic, all that stuff. But one thing that I see and hear on a regular basis with a lot of students is they could be doing such a fantastic job with that. And they're coming so far with their ability to have quality ideas and have some really, really cool stuff to say. But what's lagging is their ability to handle the instrument on a level where they can actually translate those things that they're hearing into it coming out of the instrument. So a lot of people, they spend all their time practicing the instrument, mastering that. They have nothing to say. And then other people, they spend all their time developing things to say, but they can't actually say them through their instrument. So if there was a piece of advice that I could give to myself when I was younger, I think that I had the idea part, the ear part down, because I was just so obsessed with listening to records and figuring out what they were playing. And I just loved the music so much. Even when I wasn't playing the saxophone, I was just singing along with my records. I memorized entire solos where I could just kind of sing them back. But the one thing that I would have done was I would have spent a little bit more time mastering the instrument. I feel like I'm constantly playing catch up just on the saxophone. So if there's one sort of sentence that I could sum this all up into, is try to get closer to having the instrument just be an extension of your body, an extension of your being, rather than an impediment. If you focus on that, and you focus on the other side, you're going to be just kind of an unstoppable force. So that's the advice I would give to my younger self. Thank you so much, Will, for the question. Let me know what you all think in the comments below, and leave me some questions below this video for the next episode, which I promise will come out a lot sooner than the distance between episode 1 and episode 2. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Hope this was valuable to you in some way. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.